Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a little bit unexpected because, to be completely honest, I was not prepared to film today. I'm in a t-shirt, just got back from HEB. I donated plasma this morning. I was not gonna film today, but I was sitting there thinking, it's class is fixing to start. I'm not gonna have that much time to film, so I want to film, some videos for class starts. And I bought this over the weekend, and yeah, I don't know what I think about this. I literally have it sitting here and I've just been staring at it some days, like what do I want to do with you kind of thing. So I'm not gonna do a review on it because, to be completely honest, there's probably thousands of Subculture reviews on YouTube now. Everybody's talked about it, so honestly I'm just gonna do some eyeshadow. I'm just gonna play with the palette and then kind of just give you my thoughts on it. I'm not gonna do swatches. Like I said, there are 1,000 videos that do swatches and reviews or anything like that. I'm just gonna use it and kind of just play around with it and see what I come up with. And if I absolutely hate it, I will be returning it. And I did buy it from Ulta. I did get it in stores. So if you want to see a little tutorial with the Subculture palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills, then please keep on watching. So like I did say, I did purchase this from Ulta. I think it was like $40, $45, something like that. And I went in there to buy number 7 products to do a full face of number 7, and I saw this and I was like, gosh, what am I supposed to do? So I ended up buying this, and if I don't like it, like I said, I will return it. One thing I did notice though is I did get the batch P7, which is supposedly the good batch that she did release. So I'm kind of hoping that that is good. That's kind of good. I don't know. I haven't touched and played with it on my eyes yet. Anyways, one thing that I want to point out, but I don't know if it actually matters. I was comparing the Subculture to my Anastasia Modern Renaissance back there, and I was looking at the ingredient differences on the back of the palette and box, and to be completely honest, in the Modern Renaissance there is no talc in any of the ingredients whatsoever. I believe talc can cause cancer or kind of just more harmful to your skin. I know people were freaking out because the Laura Mercier one doesn't have talc. No, Laura Mercier one does have talc. Cover FX loose powder does not have talc. I know there was a lot of kind of heat over that specific ingredient, which I know it is harmful to you. Modern Renaissance does not have talc, but the Subculture one, every single eyeshadow that is in this palette contains talc. So I was kind of thinking to myself, I wonder if that's the difference between the Modern Renaissance and Subculture, meaning I wonder if that's why the Subculture is so, I guess, more powdery, has a lot more kick up than the Modern Renaissance. I mean, that's just my thought. It's just kind of my opinion on it. It's just a small little change. I noticed that one has talc and one doesn't. So I just kind of wanted to mention that and maybe get y'all guys feedback on that and what y'all think. But just my little food for thought with this palette. It's just kind of the one thing I noticed right off the bat. I'm not going to be doing a whole review over this bad boy, but this is it right here. If you have not seen it, it's absolutely gorgeous. I did dip my brush in All Star and Roxy, and All Star did have a lot of kick up. Roxy wasn't that bad, and I just kind of dipped my brush in it a couple days ago just to kind of play around with it and see what happened. But other than that, yeah, I'm nervous to play with it because I really don't want my eyeshadow to turn out like crap. I'm not going anywhere else today, so it is good that I can just wipe it off. But I won't be doing my face makeup on camera, just my eye makeup, and I'm going to stick with things that I know work for me. So this isn't going to be no extravagant eye, makeup, colorful, anything like that. But for eyeshadow primer, and I did apply tape, I'm going to be taking the Wet n Wild Photo Focus eyeshadow primer because this works for me. I can count on it, and I know it's not going to mess anything up. So now that we are primed anything like that, I normally will go in with a bone matte shade just to set that primer. And the one shade I am seeing in here that is kind of like that would be Dawn Cube. Is shimmery, and it's supposed to have holographic kind of shift to it. So I'm going to take Dawn on a Morphe M521, and we are going to see. That's not too bad. I'm going to dust that off. So this definitely has an orangey tint to it. It's definitely not a bone matte shade, which is what I would normally use. But one thing I'm noticing, if you literally just set your brush in the eyeshadow pan, you definitely do not get that much kick up. Now if you go in, tip first and sit there and, kind of mess around with the eyeshadow, then you get a lot of kick up. But if you just go in very lightly and just kind of set your brush in it, you're really fine. But this eyeshadow definitely has a little bit of orangeness to it. So let's see, what do we want to go in with first? I think we'll just take Roxy, and I'm just going to use a normal brush that I always use. I'm going to go in with my Wet n Wild crease brush, and I'm going to take Roxy, and I'm only going, Roxy is kind of like this more like orangey shade. I'm literally going to tap once. And if you tap once, you get a lot of color payoff. You can see it on the tip right there, and there was no kick up with that one tap. So we're gonna go in and buff this into the crease. I'm starting with very, very little, small amount of product right here because I want to build it up. I don't want to go in with so much product like I've seen in other videos where people are like, oh my gosh, it's so pigmented it won't blend. So I'm going to start with very little product, not applying really any pressure. I'm just buffing it in. And I have seen so many review videos over this, so I kind of know what to do and what not to do, and I'm just gonna, you know, just do my own opinion and own twist with this and just see what works. This Roxy shade is blending out really nicely, and that was very little product on my brush, and I did get a lot of color payoff. So like I said, we're just gonna go into the other eye, very small amount of product, no pressure, and just buff this into our crease. These eyeshadows don't require very much effort when it comes to getting the color payoff from the start. Like, I literally did not even press my brush into this shadow, and I have really great color payoff. So now that we have Roxy down, I honestly don't know what I want to take next. Maybe we'll take New Wave. New Wave is kind of like this like burnt rustic looking orange shade. I'm taking it on an M433. I'm going to do a very small tap, and that one definitely had a lot more kick up than Roxy. And we're going to take this and buff this into our crease. I'm not noticing as much pigmentation right off the bat with the New Wave shade. I'm just now starting to see it in the crease. Now I'm doing the same thing with Roxy, really light hand, very, very small amount of product just to start out with. And I'm starting to get that nice kind of yellowy orange shade right here in the crease. So I'm going to move on to the other eye and do the same thing. So that actually blended out really nicely with Roxy. It almost kind of looks like a pretty peachy, like a sunset color. Just looking in my mirror in front of me, it's not patchy. I don't see any lines to where the eyeshadow skipped. It's blending out really, really nicely. Keep in mind, I had a very, very light hand. I didn't go in with very much product at all. Right there is the New Wave shade. You can tell there definitely is some kick up in the pan. And that was basically just from dipping into it that 4 or 5 times that it took to build up for both eyes. So now I don't know what I want to do again. I think I'm going to take the M412, and I'm going to go in with... Let's take All Star. That's the shade that's been getting a lot of hype recently. So same thing, I'm going to very small little dip into the pan. Not as much kick up as New Wave, but the brush has quite a bit of product on it. And let's do a halo eye. Maybe we'll put Cube in the center. Or no, we'll just do a smoky eye. I did a halo eye recently, so I'm going to put this in our outer V. Ever so slightly into the crease. Again, extremely light hand. And we will go in with the first color that we used and make sure we have no lines. I really like this purple shade. It actually is really pretty. It's like a plummy purple. I think this would be really, really pretty for fall. Again, about halfway into the crease. I don't want to take it too far. And then I'm going to go back in with that small brush we used with the yellow shade and just very, very small strokes begin to blend everything out. I mean, I'm not a makeup artist or anything. I'm just kind of going off of things that I've learned of what to do and not to do in videos, and then just, you know, things that I know personally with eyeshadow and, you know, kind of what works best for me. And I've seen people, you know, really dig like their brush and everything into these, so a light hand is honestly working for me. And I definitely want to do more tutorials. Like I said, I've only used Roxy, New Wave, and All Star today. And then I'm going to put Cube all over the lid because Cube is honestly interesting me. But I definitely want to do more looks definitely with like Untamed and Destiny, that really pretty green shade. So we will go back in and kind of brighten that up again after we put Cube down. But I want to try Cube first with my MAC 242 and No Fix Plus. I want to see what Cube looks like by itself. So it is honestly, it looks like a duochrome. It's supposed to be like a duochrome, but we'll see. Getting some on my brush, there's really no product coming off. Very, very little product is coming off. Ooh, it has like a pink shift to it. That's pretty. You know, I'll do one eye without Fix Plus, and then I'll do one eye with Fix Plus so we can kind of see the difference. And here comes my cat meowing. So without Fix Plus, this is exactly what we look like. It definitely has a pink shift to it, and I think it's honestly really pretty. So now I am going to pick up some product again, but this time I'm going to wet my brush with Fix Plus and apply it to the other eye. So with Fix Plus, I definitely notice you can get that pigmentation a little quicker. But I actually think it is easier to apply without Fix Plus. Like I feel like when I go to tap it out, it's a little easier to tap out and blend together without the Fix Plus. But it still looks pretty either way. You still get the same outcome. So now I'm going to go in with the brush. We had the purple shade on, and with no extra product, I'm just going to softly blend over the edges. And then I'm going to take that same crease brush with just a little bit of New Wave on it again and buff this into the crease. And then I'm going to go with just a little bit more of All Star right on the outer half of our eye. Not too much, just a little bit more, just to make it a little bit deeper. Okay, so this is what we are left with. I think this is the longest video I've ever done with just eyeshadow because I'm at 19 minutes right now. We're just now done with the eyeballs. So this is exactly what we're left with, and I really like the way this looked out. I had really no trouble at all blending out any of the shadows. I didn't have any trouble with, you know, shadows oxidizing. The 4 shades that I did use looked really nicely together, but I'm going to do the rest of my face makeup and eye makeup, and then I will come back and we'll finish up the lower lash line. Okay, so finished up my face makeup and applied lashes. For foundation, I use the Maybelline Dream Wonder Fluid Touch Foundation. This is like kind of like meh for me. And then concealer was the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer. Then powder under my eyes only was the Revlon Color Stay Powder. Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. Blush is the Laura Geller Blush and Brighten and Blush. Ooh, that's a lot of B's. And a Pink Buttercream. And mascara is the Maybelline Lash Sensational. And then the lashes I put on are the Eylure and Nikki Philippi. I'm not too sure how you say her last name, but these are the lashes I put on. And then lipstick is the Kate Rimmel lipstick in 45. I decided to just go with something a little more neutral and pinky to kind of pull in the purple tones, but I'm waiting for this lash glue right here to dry, so I figured we could just go ahead and move on to the eyes. I just applied some black liner to my waterline, and highlight we're going to use one of the glow kits for our brow bone, inner corner, and face highlight, so I figured I'd do that on camera. But on a flat definer brush, I'm going to take All Star, and I'm going to smudge this. I gotta take this little sticky off. I'm going to not smudge it, but kind of like press it up on the outer half of our lower lash line. Alright, go halfway in, and then I'm going to stop. And then on a pencil brush, I'm going to take a mix of New Wave and Roxy, and I'm going to buff this out. Like I said, there's really not a shade in here for me to highlight my brow bone or inner corner. So I'm going to actually go in with one of her glow kits. You can use any glow kit, but I feel like being a little more, you know, colorful and festive. So I'm going to use the glow kit in Gleam. And I don't really use this one that much, but I think I'm going to mix like a bit of Starburst and Crushed Pearl, or maybe just Starburst on the eyes. I don't know. We'll do a mix of Starburst and Crushed Pearl on our eyes. I mean, I just love her glow kits. That's like one thing that she made that I love. I have 3 of them. I have the gold one, I have the Nicole Guerrero one, and then I have this blue one. And they're honestly amazing. So our eyes are all glowy now, so we will move on to the face, and I'm just going to take the same thing, mix Starburst and Crushed Pearl together. So this is the final look using the Subculture, and I have to say I really didn't have any trouble with it. Again, like I said a million times when I used all of these shadows in this video, I had a very light hand. I didn't apply very much pressure when I dipped my brush into the eyeshadow pan. I literally just tapped it very softly. When I blended it out on my eyes, I applied no pressure. I let the brush and my hand movements do all of the work. So I honestly had no problems with it. I really like the way this turned out. It's like a nice way to incorporate color for me. And I have to say I'm really pleased with it. Like this orange Roxy with a little bit of yellow with a new wave honestly looks really pretty. I'm impressed with the purple and then cube, because that cube shade pulls a little more pinky, which complements the purple. So this is what we are left with right here, and as you can tell when I do close my eyeballs, it honestly looks really pretty. I'm really impressed with the shades. I really had no trouble blending them out. None of these shades I did use today oxidized. I have heard though that Untamed, this really pretty like kind of green shade right here, does oxidize. I will be using this palette in more videos so we can kind of get a feel for all of these shades, but as for these 4 shades right here, I really like them and I'm pretty impressed with them. So I hope you guys did enjoy today's little review and tutorial over the Anastasia Subculture palette. Like I said, I'm pretty pleased with it. We will just kind of mess around in more videos with other shades and see if our thoughts change. Let me know what you think of the palette down below, if you own it or if you are thinking about purchasing it. But yeah, I will link the products that I did use down below, and yeah, I'm pretty excited this works for me. To be completely honest, I didn't want to return it. You know, I have her first one, and that's the first Anastasia palette I ever purchased. I really wish I would have purchased previous ones, but I wasn't into makeup at that time when the whole you know, all her other palettes came out, and I'm really happy this Subculture one is working for me right now. I'm honestly loving this eyeshadow look. Like, I don't even want to take my makeup off, and I'm not even going anywhere after this. So if you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye, y'all.